Today, I am so excited to introduce Lisa Haggai. She is the owner of the Reverse, the Reverse. How about the Reverse Mortgage Center? And Lisa has spent years helping homeowners understand one of the most misunderstood financial tools available today. But today isn't simply about reverse mortgages, it's also about entrepreneurship, encourage, helping other people with difficult decisions, and building a business centered on education and trust. So I am here to welcome Lisa to Women and the Businesses They Own podcast. And we would really like to hear more about you, Lisa. Please tell us more about, or before we get to the reverse mortgages, just tell us a little bit more about yourself personally and professionally.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Sherry, for having me here today. I appreciate that. And you empowering women as well. So basically, in a nutshell, I am the mother of three. My 24-year-old twins, well, my boys are 24 twins. And then I also have a 22-year-old daughter. We just become empty nesters, which is really kind of a cool stage of life. I'm just saying. I divorced their dad when my daughter was 2 and the twins were 4, because of a domestic violence situation. So that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is become a single mom and leave in that scenario. But I did it. And then a year later, I met my now current husband, who we just celebrated 19 years together. So
Woohoo! Yeah.
yes, yes. So everything happens for a reason, and he's been a huge reason for me doing everything. I mean, as far as me being able to survive, but then also take over the ownership of the company and all of that. Professionally wise, I started out in doing Medicaid for about 3 or 4 years, where I was working with seniors doing the Medicaid waiver program and going into their homes. And I really liked that. I really learned that I liked to work with seniors at that point. But then I went into doing credit counseling and financial counseling. I did that for about 9 years. And one of my favorite counseling sessions that I would always do was the reverse mortgage counseling sessions. So after I did get divorced, I had to make a change. I just couldn't do the 8 to 5 behind the desk, um, hours every hour on the hour without having family in the area to help with the kids and so forth. It was a kind of a natural transition to go into doing reverse mortgages at that point, where I could work from home. Mind you, this was 2008. So that was before people were, it was okay to work from home. So I transitioned into doing that, which was the best of all worlds because I got to be home with the kids and do field trips and, do the mom stuff, but then also have a career. That's kind of how I got into doing the reverse mortgages with the Reverse Mortgage Center. I apologize. I'm sorry. This is probably going to happen. I have an older dog who thinks somebody is here when there's not, so I apologize. Um, so that's kind of how I got into doing the reverse mortgages.
There's a lot to unpack there. I mean, you
Yeah.
started with, so when I opened up, I said this wasn't just about, reverse mortgages. This was about entrepreneurship and courage. Well, I'm stuck at courage because you opened up with, you have twin boys and a daughter. So I don't know. I mean, after the boys, I would have been like, okay, I've got my two, I'm done.
It wasn't planned that way. She was a surprise.
Like, wow. Well, at least you have your daughter. So that's
I
really
do.
nice to
I
have,
do. She's a
to have,
blessing.
one of both. But then to be able to, you just made that decision to go on your own. That's huge. That's courage. So I would think starting a business is easy compared to taking
Oh,
3 little kids and going on your own.
and I'm also a 13-year survivor of breast cancer and breast implant illness. Breast implants can make you sick and potentially kill you. So just PSA.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So you've pretty much taken on everything. One person might have just this or
yeah,
just this, maybe just that business or just this, situation. You have to leave
yeah,
your spouse, but you also had to deal with an illness on top of that. So
yeah. So
you've
I am
got
flat and fabulous.
I love it. I love it. That should be your email. Little signature line there. Maybe your personal email, not so much
Yeah.
the business one. Well, so that makes sense when you kind of naturally started in the Medicaid, or you said Medicare waiver, actually, didn't you? Medicaid.
Medicaid waiver.
Oh,
Yeah.
Medicaid waiver. Okay, I want to make sure I
Mhm.
heard that right. And so being able to do that, but I mean, a lot of even the financing that you did, then going into the reverse mortgages, it's nice to. I find that a lot of sales jobs, I guess we could kind of call it a sales job in a way, is more flexible where you can have that opportunity to work at home. It was a great way for you to be able to do that and have your family,
Yeah.
that.
It was perfect. It
Yeah,
was perfect.
absolutely. So where is it that, do you live in Traverse City?
I do. I was born and raised in East Lansing.
Okay.
And then I moved up to Traverse City. Oh gosh, probably about 21 years ago.
Okay. So
So
that's
yeah,
where
I'm
your
in
kids
Traverse
all gone.
City,
Yeah,
but I travel anywhere throughout Michigan for work.
for work, you're able to travel. But the
Yeah,
kids were up there. So, I mean, you guys have beautiful summers, and I'm not so sure about the beautiful winters, but you hunker down.
you embrace it.
You embrace it the best that you can, right?
Yeah.
Well, so what we wanted to kind of talk about was you owning this business, and you made it sound easy that you just naturally fell into reverse mortgages because of you did the financial budgeting and the expenses and kind of worked with that counseling piece. But um, I mean, there has to be more to it than that. There must have been a little bit of a decision as to switching careers again, or what does this mean? Did you naturally own the business right away, or did you
No.
just move into somebody else's company first?
Yeah, so the Reverse Mortgage Center was a subsidiary or under an umbrella of a bigger mortgage company.
Okay.
So I did start under and have always worked under the Reverse Mortgage Center. So I didn't come up with a name or anything like that. But then it was kind of after doing that under that umbrella mortgage company for a few years, I was like, all right, I wasn't able to give my clients the best deals out there because I had a manager to pay and then the owner to pay. And so, there was a lot of layers there. So it was always kind of my objective to take over ownership of the company so that I could give that savings along and pass that along to my clients and give them the best deals possible. It was delayed longer than it was planned just because of my health issues. I was sick for quite a few years. Obviously, with the breast implant or with the breast cancer and breast implant illness stuff. So it was delayed. But then, ironically, during COVID time, why not?
It's amazing. As I've been doing this for, gosh, I don't know, getting like a year and 3 months or 4 months or what have you, how many of you courageous women all decided to start businesses in the middle of COVID? That seems to be a theme. Like everybody just thought, let's do this. It's 2020 or
Yeah.
2021. Let's just knock this out.
Yeah. And part of that also was, I mean, it was just the timing there, but I had a friend that I had no idea how to start a business. I knew nothing, nothing. I had zero idea of how to even take that first step. But I had a friend in the industry who was getting ready to retire. And so she was instrumental in helping me along the way as far as, taking those steps and getting me to the point where I was, able to take over that ownership. So I wanted to, that was part of it too, as far as timing is making sure to be able to take advantage of her willingness to help. And I owe
Yeah.
her everything.
She was a really good mentor to you to be able
Oh,
to
terribly.
come
I
in.
mean, just can't thank her enough. So
So what were some of those steps that she kind of walked you through a little bit? Because sometimes we just wake up and decide we want to be a business owner, and then once we find ourselves in the thick of it, you're like, holy cow, I didn't know I had to have all of these working parts, or
yeah.
deciding whether you could work out of your home or having an actual office space. Or tell us about some of those steps. Where did she guide you?
Most of it was the licensing aspect. I mean, that's really where she helped me a lot with that, is just, how do you get a DBA? How do you get the LLC? How do you get registered with NMLS? Like, all of those types of behind the scenes things as far as being registered as a mortgage, broker. So,
Mhm. Well, and some of
Um,
those pieces are just for any business. An LLC is anybody would
mhm.
really want to do that if you're starting a business. And the DBA is just the name itself and making sure
Yeah,
that you're securing that so nobody else comes in and steals it from you.
yeah.
When you were describing that you didn't get to pick the name because you'd worked there, is this a considered a franchise or is this
Mm.
the only one? It's the
I'm the
reverse
only
mortgage.
one. I'm the
Okay.
OG. So yeah, I had a conversation with my manager, who is the one who essentially him and his partner came up with the Reverse Mortgage Center name years ago.
Hmm.
I've been with the Reverse Mortgage Center for what is it, 18, well, since 2008, whatever that math is.
Yeah.
So it's been what, was that 18 years?
Almost 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
18. Hmm.
Yeah, so when it came time to making this transition, I did have that conversation with him, and and he was getting ready to retire anyway. So he gave me full blessing to then just take over the ownership of it and make it an LLC and make it my own. And at that point, I did have that decision as far as am I going to change the name? And I didn't want to do that because I've been doing this already for so many years, and everybody, my branding and everybody knew me,
Hmm.
as the Reverse Mortgage Center. And so I didn't really want to change that. I just added the LLC to it.
Okay.
Um, and I did change the tagline. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, it makes sense. I think the reverse mortgage says it all. I mean, sometimes people's business names, you have to do more than just branding. You have to explain yourself too. So,
yeah,
I mean, yours is what it is.
yeah,
You
yeah,
already had some of that, name recognition in the area
yeah,
already. So,
absolutely.
hmm
And
so
that's
I think
all I do is just reverse mortgages. So even though I'm licensed to do regular mortgages, I choose not to.
okay.
I choose to truly just specialize in reverse mortgages. So, it just made sense to keep it the name as the Reverse Mortgage Center.
Yeah,
So,
that's your niche. That's all
yeah,
you're going to do, and you're going to do it to the best of your ability at that point.
absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
described having your kids and then going out on your own before meeting your current husband. And it sounds like you had made a comment about you knew you wanted to own a business or you knew you wanted to. I mean, what was that defining moment for you where you just said, I'm done working for somebody else. I'm just gonna take it over.
Yeah, it was never, ever, ever, ever in my entire life did I ever dream of being a business owner, think I would be a business owner. It was nowhere on the radar. Neither was living in Traverse City, but here I am. So things happen, and it was just a couple years, 3 years after I started doing the reverse mortgages that I saw that there would be that added benefit, again, to be able to pass that along to my clients and my customers.
The
So
cost savings is what you're referring to, right? Because
really, yeah,
now that you own it, you can decide a little bit more on that cost structure and you're not having to pay everybody else involved. Do you
right.
have other employees then, or is it just you?
I do. I do. I right now, my manager, he came and worked for me under me for a little while, but he's older, so he just retired this last year. I do have one other loan officer that works with me. She kind of is in the Gaylord area, so she kind of handles the east side of the state now. And then I'm also in the process of potentially hiring a new loan officer to kind of help me more with the west side, as far as like Muskegon, Grand Rapids, stuff like that, just because it's growing and I just can't do it all. And I don't want to. One of the things I'm not willing to risk is that customer service and what
Sure.
I bring to the table. So
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you have a
want
high standard, which is good for everybody to know and nice, and the expectations of that service to your clients. And so adding
yeah.
more people would just be beneficial. So does everybody work from home or do you have
Yes.
an
Yep.
actual brick and mortar?
Yep. Everybody works from home.
Oh, okay. So
Yep. We
that's
all work from
nice.
home.
How do you keep everybody organized and on the same page? How do you tell me that structure as a business owner to make sure that if you're bringing on somebody new and you already have somebody in Gaylord, how do you guys all stay connected?
Well, it's a lot of phone calls. Just once in a while we'll meet up and like I just had the new loan officer come and shadow me for the day, just to kind of show her, how how things work and what
Hmm.
she can expect and all of that. That's not a done deal yet, but hopefully that will work out, because she's got some really good background that she'll be bringing to the table as well. But yeah, lots of phone conversations and emails and
Yeah. Do you guys use Teams or something like that where you can do video chats?
we have not, just because it's primarily just at this point been Kristen and I.
Yeah.
But now that there's going to be potentially another person, yeah, we'll probably start to utilize that stuff a little bit more. But at this point in the game, it hasn't really been a need. So
You must have a good IT person because that's just another one of those facets as a business owner. You're just like, you can't know everything. So you have to bring in an IT person and just say, how do you bring in my people? How do
I
you?
know nothing about IT. Thankfully, my husband is an IT guy,
Oh,
so that is his job. Is he actually is an IT guy? So he was able to help set up and establish all of those things for me. So thank
oh my
goodness.
gosh. That makes a huge yes. So do you give all of your people laptops or something to work from with the programs you need and the
Yeah,
training?
yeah. Well, they
That,
get their own laptops, but yeah, yes, we have
okay.
the lenders provide the programs and stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So that kind of makes it easy. It seems like those programs are online and that just
yeah.
takes away. What would be the hardest thing that you can reflect on right now as a business owner so far? It's not what you do. The people, the clients are great, right? The loan process probably is fairly easy at this point. Is there any obstacle
Mhm.
that really stood out to you? Maybe it is the loan process.
They're not all simple, let me just tell you. There's a lot of challenges out there, but yeah, do we do what it takes to get her done? So, um, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. What was
That's
the?
okay. No, that's what would be the biggest obstacle for you
Oh,
that you've seen so far just coming into this as a business owner? Is it the hiring? Is it the loan process? Is it the marketing? Where is it that you
yes.
find it's all of it?
All of the above, yeah. I mean, I will say there's a lot more to the background aspect of things as far as paperwork and quarterly mortgage call reports and making sure that I'm, abiding by the regulations and all of that stuff. There's a lot to that. So that's been a learning curve. Yeah, that's
Oh,
stuff
so
that
the
I
biggest
didn't realize that was going to be there. But I'm just getting through it and figuring it out.
So
So,
what's making your business boom all of a sudden? Because it's a niche, to be in reverse mortgages. Are you seeing a pattern of seniors? Because obviously, tell us a little bit more about the reverse mortgage in itself so that our listeners can understand. Oh, yeah, we've heard this. We've seen the commercials on TV. We've got, who is it that spotlights William Shatner or somebody out there selling reverse mortgages online? Tell us a little bit more about it and then what you think might be more of the trend that we're seeing why you're booming.
yeah. So, in a very, very brief nutshell, a reverse mortgage is just like a regular home equity line of credit, or a regular mortgage, where somebody who is 55 or older, there is that age restriction, 55 or older can borrow some of the equity out of their home. And I can set it up that they get monthly paychecks or a line of credit, or we just pay off their existing mortgage or whatever it is that meets their goals. But the difference with the reverse mortgage versus those HELOCs or regular mortgages is that there's never any required monthly payments. So they are ideal for a person who is on a fixed income, right? So, you can go get a HELOC, but then you're going to have to turn around and make a payment every month. That defeats the purpose, right? So that's why these reverse mortgages exist. They've been around, I believe since like the 60s or 70s, but they've changed a lot and they've gotten a lot more protections, especially since the 80s, and just coming along over the years as far as protections for the seniors. So, if you think about it, if you're a senior and you're on a fixed income and cost of living keeps going up and up and up and up, and, expenses keep going up and your income doesn't, what do you do? What do you do? Yeah, maybe you can go get a job, a part-time job but that's not forever, right? So gives these seniors just an ability to be able to live and give them that reprieve. Why I feel like it's becoming so popular is that unfortunately that situation is happening, is that expenses just keep going up, fixed incomes don't. And that problem's not going away anytime soon. I also feel like um, the education has been coming along a lot more now. It used to be, oh, don't do that. The reverse mortgage is a bad thing because there were so many misconceptions out there. And there still are misconceptions out there. That's a daily uphill battle. But the education is getting out there from those TV commercials that, Tom Selleck is doing and stuff. I get it. I'm not Tom Selleck.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's helping getting that education out there. But why I've become so much more busy lately is, I mean, number one, I've been just doing it for 18 years. Like everybody in the area knows who I am and what I do, and that I truly specialize in it. There's a lot of people who are more regular mortgage lenders who are just starting to dabble into it, but they're not specialists, which is the same reason why I choose not to do regular mortgages because I don't want to spread myself too thin, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you had mentioned this was your niche. This is all you do.
yeah, yeah. And so, um, just a combination of all of those things, I think really is just,
Well,
it's,
when people have their biggest asset is their home, you're giving them a way to access that asset because otherwise, these seniors will end up passing away and then all their equity goes to their children. And when you're struggling or maybe you just need to remodel or do
Mhm.
something, you want something done to your house, it's just time to get some things updated. Maybe that
Yeah,
roof needs to be done. And all of these expenses are going up as you had mentioned. I mean, to do a roof, I can't believe how expensive that is today. And so even just to maintain your home, sometimes you need to
yeah,
dip into the equity. Maybe you want one last trip before,
yeah,
you're for you and your wife, life is short and you want to make some memories, have those experiences. Or maybe it's just to have some extra money in the bank and
yeah.
sleep at night.
People do the reverse mortgage for all of those reasons
Yeah.
and then some. Everybody's situation is different, and which is why I love the fact that I can contour the program to what fits their need. So I'm a broker. So the nice thing is that I work with 5 different lenders. So I can, based on what that individual client's need is, I can really truly find the best loan for them and the best lender for them, and really just make it fit for them personally versus just a cookie cutter
Hmm.
situation. So,
I mean, I've been told reverse mortgages can be a little bit more expensive
and
than a traditional mortgage. It sounds like you try to really reduce those costs as much as possible, but can you tell us, is it because the rates are higher? Is there some
no,
sort of an administration cost? What is it that makes the reverse mortgage a little bit more expensive?
no, actually, my rates right now are actually less than regular mortgage rates. I mean, I don't do regulars, but just from what I've seen and heard
Mhm,
out there, my
mhm.
rates are actually lower than just a regular mortgage rate right now.
Okay.
Um, because again, I get to have a little somewhat control
Yeah.
over that to some
Yeah.
degree,
What are the
obviously.
rates? What are the rates
Um,
you see right now?
what's that?
The rates. What are the rates that you see right now for a reverse mortgage?
It depends on the program that we're looking at because there's a variety of different programs, but anywhere from like maybe 5.5%. Some of them do go up to closer to 10%, again, just depending on the program.
Hmm.
But as far as, yeah, unfortunately, the closing costs for the traditional HECM, just the traditional HUD-backed
Yeah.
reverse mortgage, those are a little bit more expensive, primarily because there is a required HUD insurance on that loan,
Okay.
and that's a HUD insurance thing. That insurance does protect that client and their estate, versus it protecting the lender, like a regular PMI insurance protects the lender.
Yeah.
This mortgage insurance does protect the client and their estate. So either A, if the lender were to go out of business, it's guaranteed that HUD's going to step in and make sure that they still have access to their funds. Or if they, for whatever reason, were to go upside down in the value of the home and owe more, it guarantees that the lender can't come after the client or their estate for any kind of a shortfall. So
Okay.
yeah. So, I mean, that's why they are a little bit more expensive. The proprietary programs that we offer they're not HUD backed, still have all those same protections, but
Hmm.
because they aren't HUD backed, they don't have that required mortgage insurance. So typically speaking, those closing costs are a little bit less expensive. However, the lender is at a higher risk, so they charge a higher interest rate, which is where we can get up into those 8, 9, 10% rates for those programs. So it's a trade-off, right? And that's
Hmm.
part of
Hmm.
my job is to assist the client in figuring out really what is the best program for them because
Yeah.
there's pros and cons.
I'm surprised that it goes down to 55 now. I thought it was a 62 was the lowest age. So you're saying
Yeah.
55 now?
Yeah, so for the traditional HACM programs, it's 62 and over. But these
Okay.
proprietary programs, we can go as low as 55, which has been amazing because,
Yeah.
things happen. I have clients that, have a medical emergency that all of a sudden they're forced to retire at 55, between 55 and 62, and that's maybe where that proprietary program would come in to be a better fit because they qualify versus having to wait until they're 62.
And
So,
then it's based on the younger spouse, correct?
correct.
If you're
Mhm.
looking at that.
Yep.
And then if there were, let's say one of the spouses, I don't know how to say that, if one of them in as a married couple, one of them passes away, the surviving spouse gets to stay for their lifetime,
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely. Yep.
What happens when they both pass away?
Yep. So at that point, it really becomes just like a regular mortgage. When it's no longer their primary residence, it really becomes just like a regular mortgage. That if typically speaking, the heirs would then list the house for sale, sell the house, pay off what the clients borrowed, what they owe, plus whatever interest is accrued. And that remaining equity does go back to the estate, which is one of the biggest misconceptions is that most people think that the reverse mortgage company owns the home, that you're selling your house to the lender for pennies on the dollar. And that's not the case at all. They still own the home just like a regular mortgage. This is just a mortgage on the house, just a lien, just like any regular mortgage would be. And then again, that remaining equity does go to the client or the estate, depending
Yeah.
on their situation when it's no longer their primary residence. But if for some reason they're upside down and they owe more than the future value, they're a non-recourse loan. So the lender cannot come after the client or the estate for any kind of shortfall. If they get into that situation where they are upside down, the lender can't come and say, you got to get out. As long as they're maintaining their property taxes and homeowners insurance and keeping the general upkeep of the house up, the lender
Yeah.
can't come and just say you got to get out.
Yeah.
So,
So you have to keep paying property taxes. You have to keep paying homeowners insurance. And those are your only costs at that point, though. There's no payment on this loan.
right. No monthly mortgage payment ever. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
it's
the
based on,
benefit.
I'm assuming there's a calculation based on age, mortality, however that's working to be able to decide how much equity you actually get to pull from the home.
Right. Right. Because we can't lend 100% of the value, right? The goal is to not make somebody go upside down in the value. So over the years, HUD has reduced the amount, that ratio that we can lend because that was happening. And so, they have over the years reduced what we can lend. But that's where those proprietary programs also come into play because those do lend more than just the traditional HACM program. So again, it's really part of my expertise in helping figure out what is that best program for them.
Yeah, I love that you're independent, so to speak, where you can
Yeah.
just shop within those five choices and come up with the best program for somebody and not just only have one proprietary,
Mhm.
bro- um, lender, I guess is,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Since day one of me
yeah,
getting into doing, I mean, literally from day one of me getting into doing reverse mortgages years ago, I've been headhunting as far as lenders trying to get me to come and work directly for them. And I have
okay,
always refused because that is not what's best for my clients. That means I'm working for the lender on the lender's behalf, and I've got these set program options.
yeah.
That's not what's best for my client. By me being able to be a broker, I work for the client on the client's behalf and looking out for their best interest.
Yeah.
But it doesn't cost the client anything extra to go through me. That's another big misconception is people think that it costs extra to go through a broker versus a lender, and that's not the case at all.
I would say that it would be harder for you to have to keep up to date training or any type of information on all these lenders or licensing with
Yes.
all of these lenders. So, I mean, it really speaks volumes to me that you are truly doing what's in the best interest of your client because you're doing all the extra work on the backside to
Yep.
basically sell all five of these programs if that need comes to the client. So, I mean, kudos to you. I recognize what that can be, and I wanted to share that with our listeners too. Being independent doesn't mean it's less work.
No. No, because I got to learn all the programs, not just
Yes.
what one lender offers.
It's
So
more
yeah.
work to create more options to do what's best for your client. In my world of finance, I have suitability, just like what you're saying. So I'm a fiduciary as an RIA, so I have to do what's in the best interest of my clients as well.
Mhm.
Some in my arena just do what's suitable. So do you have, is it a credential or is that just your moral compass that kind
That
of
is
keeps
just my moral compass.
your moral
That's,
compass? There's nothing out there that's really saying, hey, you stand by these credentials or you're a fiduciary or anything like that to make
I
you
mean,
do.
there's rules and regulations as far as mortgage licensing in general,
Sure. Okay.
but there's certainly lenders out there that will do what's best for them and not necessarily best for the client.
Is there any way of spotting that for our listeners that are out there if they're engaging? Is there a keyword or phrase or maybe look for an independent person to see more options than just one proprietary option?
Yeah, I mean, as a layperson, you
Yeah.
wouldn't know, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and that's where the shopping around comes into play.
Okay.
But that's what's nice about going through me because I get to do the shopping around for them and discuss those different programs with them.
Yeah.
So it prevents, not prevents, but it makes it so that that client doesn't have to do that shopping around versus them picking up the phone and calling five different lenders. The
Yeah.
other nice thing with being a broker is that if for some reason the loan doesn't go through, we run into an issue with a program, with a product. And this just happened twice. It doesn't happen very often, but it recently just happened twice with two different clients that we ran into an issue with a program. And because I was a broker, I was able to just flip it over to a different program and in the other case, a different lender to make it still work. Whereas if that client is going directly through that lender, the client just literally has to pick up their own pieces and figure out just how to
Figure
start
out the next
over.
step, right? And start all over
And
potentially.
it's seamless for me to be able to flip it over to one of those other programs or different lenders. So
Can you
yeah.
walk us through a success story that you would consider a success story? Somebody coming in, having whatever need, and how you were able to do that. And I don't know, can you walk us through something that recently just was either successful and made you cheer, like you got this done, or touched your heart because you were able to help? Anything that comes to mind?
Every single day, every single day, every single day. I cannot even express how much I love my job because I get to see that added benefit and that relief from my clients of having whatever financial burden it is on their shoulders relieved. But so yeah, I'm blessed to have that every day. One in particular that really just it was a couple 3 years ago. I had a client that was in the middle of starting foreclosure.
Oh,
He had zero mortgage on his house. Okay. He was getting foreclosed on because he hadn't paid his property taxes, which was minuscule. He owed less than $10,000 in property taxes,
oh
but his
no.
house was to the point where they were foreclosing. I was able to do the reverse mortgage for him, pay off the back property taxes, which I literally hand delivered the check
Yeah, I would have too.
to
I
stop
would have
that
stomped up those
foreclosure.
steps, walked in that door, and went, "Really?
Yeah, I literally
10,000?
did. I
You're gonna
hand
take
delivered the
this guy's
check.
house?" Oh my
I was
God.
able to set up an escrow account for that client so he doesn't ever have to worry about that ever again because the lender is going to pay those property taxes and insurance for him going forward. And I was able to get him on a line of credit so that if he has household expenses come up or emergencies, he can draw some money from that line of credit as well. So it was just, uh, I mean, I still get goosebumps
I know I was
about,
gonna say it was a goosebump moment, but Lisa came in and saved the day. I love that you also set up the escrow. That's actually a nice layer of going the extra mile. So he doesn't have that issue again with property taxes going forward. He doesn't even have to think about it now. You're just
right,
being paid.
right.
Awesome. That is a success story. I mean, I would definitely say that's a success story, and obviously it stays with you because it was a few
Yeah,
years ago. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
okay, so let's reverse it. Is there a see what I did there? So so is there maybe a messier situation where somebody needed your help and when you sat down with them, you weren't able to help them?
Yeah, that unfortunately just happened just recently as well. Actually, within probably the last 6 months here, I went to go because what I do is I actually, when possible, I go actually meet with my clients in their home. Okay, which is another huge benefit that I offer,
Yeah.
because it's more personable. I'm old school. My clients typically are old school. We don't like to do everything on the computer. That's not
Yeah.
personable. And these are a little overwhelming and harder to understand because they're just a different concept from what we're used to with just a regular mortgage. So, number one, I'll go and sit down with the client in their home and I will go through the application page by page with them and explain what they're signing. Okay.
Mhm.
But in this situation, a couple of months ago, I did go sit down in these clients' homes and because I've been doing this long enough, I'm not an appraiser, but I've been doing it for so long, I can see issues that may make the home not be approved.
Okay.
And this house in particular, and in most cases, I can tell if they're little, I can tell the client, okay, fix this before the appraiser gets here.
Mhm.
I can kind of give them that heads up and make it more seamless, right? In this situation, it just the house was not going to pass, and they didn't have the money to be able to get it up to where it would pass. They
Mm.
had a ton of credit card debt. I think if I recall, it was maybe $30,000 in credit card debts.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to work because of health. Neither of them were able to work because of health issues. And I mean, I was sitting there with the application in hand with the intention of having them sign the application. And I just said to them, I really felt as though maybe bankruptcy was something that would maybe be a better suited option for them. And that comes from me being a credit counselor for 9 years prior to doing the reverse mortgage, is that,
Mhm.
I have that added ability to look at things from different angles, as well, as far as different options. And so um, I just didn't feel that the reverse mortgage was in their best interest.
Yeah. Sometimes the truth does hurt a little, but you
Yeah.
have to deliver it in the right situation. And thankfully, you don't have to come across that too often. But
Yeah.
when you're in their home, I guess they're in their own comfort space. When you had to deliver it, maybe that was a little better.
Yeah, I mean, it's nobody wants to hear that, but sometimes
No.
bankruptcy is the best option.
Yeah.
And I felt even if we could get the house to the point where it was gonna pass, the FHA guidelines,
Yeah.
at that point it just still wasn't gonna take care of their debts, and it just wasn't gonna be the best fit for them. So we didn't take the application. So.
So, what is the average time that somebody can expect from reaching out to you and sitting down and making sure that this is working before they can get their hands on the equity from their home so that they can start turning their life around?
Yeah, I take it 100% at that individual client's pace, sometimes years, right? Sometimes they're like, well, we just want to think about it. Sometimes that process is years because they need that time and that's okay.
Mhm.
But for
Mhm.
somebody who's like calls me and they're like, all right, this is what I want to do. You've educated me at this point. Yes, let's go ahead and proceed. Typically, from the point that I'm taking the application, on average, it takes about 30 days before we're getting to closing
Okay.
and they're getting their proceeds.
Okay. Are
So,
you able to do the counseling too because you previously did that, or they have to
no,
have an outside source?
no, that is an outside source because the
Okay.
counseling is there to protect them essentially,
Mhm.
because obviously we're all at risk of being scammed, right? At
Yes.
everybody's age, but especially as we get older. So the counseling there is really to protect them, to give them the opportunity to talk to a non-partial third party of their choosing, and just to give them the opportunity to ask questions, in essence, to make sure that I'm telling them the truth about how all of this works, and just having another party look at things and making sure that they do have a full understanding so that, a scammer isn't coming in and taking advantage of somebody who maybe isn't mentally competent or, fully understanding the process or
Yeah.
whatever. So,
That's good. That's an extra good piece too, but
yeah.
also part of the process. So, I mean, it could, depending on how fast people can get that scheduled and the appraisal
Yep.
scheduled and everything. But you're saying it can be done in 30 days and they could see
I've
that.
had them go through as quickly as 2 weeks. Now that is not that's not normal. I've had that only happen a couple of times, but typically
Hmm.
it's 30 to 45 days max,
Okay.
typically.
Well, because we know that reverse mortgages are 55 and older, or even 62 and older, depending on that program. I mean, you're working with seniors on a regular basis. So, is there any insightful wisdom nuggets that you can share with us, just in the sense of working with seniors? I mean, you're seeing it all day. I work with seniors a lot as well. I mean, to me, they're a wealth of information. They have history. They've made our country what it is today. They've done things differently with less. I don't know. How would you wrap it all up in working with seniors? What do you see about that mature group?
Yeah, I honestly, I think and I've heard this time and time again, but my grandfather is the one that said to me as he was just before he passed away, he's like, you know what? It's not the things that I did in life, it's the things that I didn't do that I regret. And I take that with me like every day. And I talk to, obviously I'm talking to seniors every day, and I
Yeah,
hear that time and time again. And
regret.
as far as, if somebody, that's where kind of in the business world, if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, it's scary. Absolutely, it's scary.
Yeah,
But don't make that one of those things that you didn't do that you'll regret. Just take the leap. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at
yeah.
least you tried and you've done, you didn't have that regret later of what if,
hmm
you
Yeah,
know?
go into it with knowing what those risks are, knowing what the worst case scenario is, and then focus on the best case scenario and go for it, right?
Yep.
But at least you knew you tried, whether you were successful at it or not, but
Yep.
no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. And I mean, life is short. I mean, I know that from my breast cancer, I just turned 40 when I was diagnosed. So, you just
Ooh,
never know. You just never know. And I truly, truly, truly am a believer of things happen for a reason, and there's always a silver lining to things.
yeah.
All of the bad things that have happened in life, as far as breakups or jobs or, whatever it may be, there's always a silver lining. I cannot stress how much I believe that.
Well, so when you brought that up again, it's interesting. Only 40. How did you discover it? How did you find that you had cancer?
By luck, by chance. I had zero family history, no reason to think that there was an issue, but because of my divorce transition and all of that, I unfortunately was without health insurance for a little while. I didn't get any help from my ex-husband as far as financially, as far as child support. So it was I was on Medicaid and under food stamps for a little while back at that point. But I did go a little bit of time where I didn't have any health insurance. So it was one of my goals, was to get health insurance. So I
Okay.
did. It was the first of the year. I just turned 40. I got my health insurance. So of course I went to the doctor and I'm like, let's just get a full workup. And the doctor said, well, they're not recommending that, guidelines are that you don't do mammograms until you're 50 now, but now that you're 40, we can if you want to. Well, one of my best friends in high school passed away at the age of 28 from breast cancer. My OBGYN who delivered all three of my kids was in her mid 30s and passed away of breast cancer. So I knew it was not age discriminatory. So it was purely by me saying to the doctor, let's just get a baseline. And that was that.
How they found it. And then, I mean, those steps were pretty tricky to kind of decide. I mean, whether or not what options you had and how you decided to. What, what was your tagline? Flat and fabulous or something?
Yes.
You just
Well, I
decided.
didn't go straight. I didn't go straight to flat and fabulous. I was, like, heck, you know what? I get silver lining, right? I was looking
Yeah.
at it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I got cancer. That really sucks. But I got rid of these old saggy mom boobs. I got these perky new, implants. I was like, yes. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that breast implant illness was a thing. And so therefore I suffered for probably about 3 4 years before I was able to figure out what was wrong. And at that
Um,
point, I elected to have the breast implants removed,
okay.
because I can sit here and promise you that I was going to die
Yeah.
had I
Well,
not. So
so that
so
was incredible. And now at that point, you did have your husband, correct? You
we
were
were
with
not married at that time, but
You
yes,
weren't
we
married,
were.
but you were together. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a little help, I guess, in a way, because that's a
Oh,
lot with kids. Did he have kids as well?
mm, no. He had
Okay.
never been married, didn't have his own kids, so
Well,
Uh,
that's actually a benefit too.
oh, it was a huge blessing.
Come
It
on
was a
in
huge.
and be stepdad and help me through this illness. And
Yeah, I don't know. I personally, if the roles were reversed, I probably would have run for the hills because the day that I physically met him in person, two of my three kids were having a complete meltdown. And I had to actually go up and ask him to help me carry the kids to the car because I was downtown Traverse City in the middle of Cherry Fest by myself
oh,
with these three little kids. And um, I, I would have run for the hills and been like, yeah, no, see ya. But he came over and brought us dinner that night. So
oh, well, you knew he was a keeper.
yeah.
Well,
So
so
yeah.
before we get to the lightning round that so many of us love to hear, is there any? I've heard you mention silver lining and no regrets, but is that the way that you would want to leave us here, or is there anything that you would like to add to that, or kind of give us just a nice little send off, your last words?
That's it. I mean, truly, I there's always a silver lining.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to find. You don't always see it, but it's there. And things happen for a reason, and people come into your lives for a reason. I truly believe that. And then they exit our lives for a reason.
Hmm.
And just coming into your own as we get older and wiser and um, just being true to yourself.
Well, I love that too when you're saying silver lining and no regrets, because that again can come right back to your what you do on a regular basis is you can help
Mhm.
create that when people might not be able to get their home fixed up or not be able to go on that last trip or maybe to do something for their kids. Those are all things that maybe help them not have regrets, and you're
Yeah.
able to kind of share that with them, be part of that
Yeah.
process and make it
I
happen.
I am blessed. I if I had the choice to do any other job in this world, this would be it.
That's is it. Well, that's nice. That's nice. So that's one thing you could tell, the young entrepreneur out there, I mean, not necessarily that reverse mortgage is them for them, but you've already said no regrets, silver lining, and you have the best career out there. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
if
that's
I
hard
were,
when you're younger. My daughter just graduated from MSU, and so she's starting her career path. They're hopefully, um, and so that's hard. You don't know where you're going to end up and where you're going to land. When I was at that age, I had never even heard of a reverse mortgage. Again,
Mhm.
never thought about owning my own company, but my path took me and brought me to where I am. And so that's what I just keep telling her is just start your path. It'll take you where you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. Sometimes that path is shorter, sometimes it's longer, but it's always a beautiful journey if you let
Yeah.
it be, so that's great. Well, I'm just going to encourage anybody listening to our podcast today that if you love it, please like it, please share it, please comment. We would love to hear from you and we would be able to get back and respond to you. But we're going to go into having a little bit of fun here and going into our lightning round. So I always say, imagine a little kitchen timer, if you will, and we've got it cranked over to 1 minute. And so these are just quick questions. Let's begin with the first one. So for retirement, would you rather retire on a beach, in the woods, or in a cabin? Or cabin in the woods, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Cabin in the woods or a beach?
Beach,
Me
beach for sure.
too. Phew. Um,
Yes.
what would be your favorite drink? And it can be a cocktail, coffee, tea, soda. I don't say soda. I'm in Michigan. Pop.
Yeah.
Right? How'd that come out?
It's pop.
It's pop, darn it.
Favorite drink. Oh gosh, I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite drink. I mean, I enjoy wine, you
Okay.
know.
Well,
Um,
you're in the wine country, so you have have your fill up there. Hopefully
yeah,
there's a good one for you. Do you,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Do you
I
like
like Pinot
tell me
Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, the New Zealand red wines. I mean, I enjoy
I
them
think
all.
one of the bigger brands for Traverse City up there is Leland All Cellars. Just a little, woo woo for them, but I can get it down here if I want it in Grand Rapids where I'm at. So that's always nice. It's not just you have to go back to that winery to get it. You can
Yeah, but
actually
it's also fun to go to the winery and get it.
both. But if you're in Grand Rapids, I mean, I'm limited. You
Yeah,
have them out your back door.
yes.
So are you a sunrise or a sunset kind of a gal?
Hmm. I would say, well, as I get older, neither.
Just give me the day.
Yeah, just getting through the day. I'm going through menopause, so it's a whole thing right there. But yeah, I guess I would say probably I'm midday. I can't stay up. I can't get up too early anymore, and I cannot stay up very late anymore. So
Okay, so you're high noon
yeah.
right there. Are you a planner or are you more spontaneous?
I'm a combination of both. I really am. I used to be more of a planner and like everything, and now, especially when it comes to more vacations and stuff, I kind of like just to be a little bit more spontaneous, but that planner aspect of me is still there. So,
Okay, so are you somebody that likes to use their passport or just road trips here in our own country?
both, both. I mean, I'm not privy to either one as far as
Not
one
trying to
versus
get
the other.
that passport stamped, like let's go, go, go. See.
No, no, no. We're just trying to figure out right now. Like we're gonna go to Chicago for our anniversary in a couple weeks, and then my husband's turning 60 in March, and so we're kind of hopefully trying to plan something maybe abroad at that point. But so no,
Okay.
not partial to either.
What, after all those years of marriage, you said 19, if I remember correctly. Why Chicago? What brings it?
Um, well, the Garth Brooks concert is the primary
Oh, okay.
thing
Yep.
that's taking us there. But
Okay.
then, yeah, it happens to fall on our anniversary weekend and of our actual wedding. And so, yeah, we're just going to kind of go make the weekend of it.
What is your favorite comfort food?
Ooh, probably pizza.
Mm, that's one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
If you weren't in reverse mortgages, what career would you love? Because now you've taken this long path, you've seen a lot of different things, and if you weren't there now, what would you do?
Oh, I'm sure it would be something with like the financial world. I enjoy the financial aspect of things. That's my background. That's my degree in college. It's just the numbers, something to do with
Mm-hmm.
numbers and working with people. That was kind of when I was in at MSU and the going into my junior year, the advisor's like, okay, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And what do you want to, you have to make a decision. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Now you're like, right
And
now,
so,
they want you to plan your whole life right now, 18, 22.
yeah. So thankfully that advisor was great. And she just asked me, she's like, well, what are your favorite classes that you've taken? And I'm like, I like my business classes and I like my social work classes. So at that time, there was a family consumer resources. So that's what she's like, here you go. This is what you're getting your degree in. So
She just guided you right to a blend of both.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, regardless if I wasn't doing reverses, it
Yeah.
would be something with a combination of those two things as well.
Where did you go to college?
Graduated from Michigan State University.
Okay, go Sparty.
Yeah, go
What is
green.
it? Go green, go white. I missed it. I heard you just say that. So, what is one app you couldn't live without?
One app.
Yeah, on your phone. What's that? An app that you just go to every day.
Well, my calendar for sure. I could not manage without my calendar. But also my speller. I really am not a good speller. So
Your sp-
I I know I can admit my faults and I just have never been good at spelling. So I use that a lot too. But
Yeah, I love my auto check.
yeah, but my number one is definitely my calendar. So
All right, the last one is one word that, let's say one word your kids would describe you. How would your kids describe you in one word?
well, again, it depends on the day. I think I'd be afraid with this menopause thing. I think I'd be afraid to ask.
Outside of menopause, what's one word?
Oh, I would say probably tenacious.
Okay.
I'm a redhead, so we kind of have we're kind of known for that as far as tenacity and just standing up for what we believe in and standing strong and protecting those that we love and care about, and whether it be clients or family or whatever, I'll do what I need to do to protect them. So
That is a really good word, and it does encompass all of that. Well
yeah.
said. Yeah, that tenacity, that's a good one. Well, there's just one thing that I always like to kind of reflect on during our time together on this podcast as well, and just always what stayed with me? And I never know what it's going to be necessarily. It could be the first question, it could be last thing. And usually there's always a goosebump moment. And so that's what I'm going to go back to is we had that, I believe, at least for me, it was just talking about that gentleman that was almost going to lose his home over property taxes. And that's a whole different subject right now where people are just like, look, we paid our house off, we shouldn't have to pay property taxes too. But in this situation, you were able to come in there and really help him. And I think that's great. And you didn't even just do the reverse mortgage and send him on his way. I mean, you were able to set up the escrow account, and then you were able to set up the other account too, where he has access to some funds really readily available to him. And so that's inspiring. That's a good case scenario. I love it.
Yeah.
Happy ending on that one. So anyway, so, well, I have one more question for you, Lisa, if you don't mind. I always like
Sure,
to save this one for the end.
sure.
So before we finish, imagine 20 years from now, someone walks into your office and they don't remember the loan, they don't remember the paperwork. What do you hope they do remember about you?
Just that I took care of them. I mean, that's the number one compliment that I do get from my clients is just that I'm personable, and I'm understanding and I'm patient with them. And because again, sometimes it takes a while for somebody to be comfortable and make this decision. And I'm not one that's like going to be like, okay, you have to make this decision right now. It's just that taking things at their pace and meeting them where they're at and their comfort level and just helping them understand things and so that they can make the best decision for them. Because ultimately it needs to be their decision as far as what they do, whether they sell the home, whether they, decide to go rent or whether they, whatever their decisions are, whether they go into assisted living or if they try to do in-home healthcare, those are all things that have to be their decision. So just being understanding and listening to them,
Yeah,
that goes a long way.
that's what we want them to say for sure. And I'm glad that you're getting that from the customers that are coming to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I truly care, and you had said earlier on, as far as the sales word,
Mhm.
it's funny because I was doing this job for years and I never once thought about the fact that I'm in sales. It never crossed my mind because I'm not. I am in the field of helping people. But it was one day I was like, I guess technically I am sales, but I always felt like that was a dirty word. And I to this day I don't look at that. I don't look at it as sales. It's
Yeah.
not
Yep.
because I'm just helping people.
I'm glad that you reframed that too. In my mind, sales was just the ability to have flexibility in our schedule, and we work as hard as we want to, and we have the flexibility to do it when we can. Usually it's harder work than just being 9 to 5. It's just
Yeah.
it's in different hours and but the flexibility is there. So, but I'm glad you definitely reframed that for everybody because I've never looked at my job as sales either, but somebody said it to me and I was like,
Yeah. What do you
no.
mean? Yeah.
No, I have family that I deal with. I don't even like to call them clients as much. You build these relationships. They're long lasting. They're forever. It could be 3 generations before you know it. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So, okay. Well, Lisa, thank you for being part of Women and the businesses they own. Your story matters, and today you told it beautifully. And to our listeners, remember, she came, she spoke, and she inspired. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Sherry.